Welcome to the Membership Guys podcast. Kick-ass advice and tips for membership site owners.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 113 of the Membership Guys podcast. I am your host, Mike Morrison, one half of the Membership Guys, and this is a very special episode because I'm joined by the other half, she would say better half, of the Membership Guys. Miss Callie Willows is here with me to celebrate the second anniversary of Member Site Academy. Yes, that's right. I put ego aside to bring Callie back onto the show, even though I know that every single time I do it, it's just making her case for why she should be the lead podcaster in the Membership Guys. And indeed, that's something that we've been exploring over the recent weeks and months. We'll dig into that a little bit more on the show. But what we want to do is a bit of a repeat of what we did all the way back in episode 60. That was just over a year ago, where we had a bit of a review of our first 12 months of the Academy. We looked at some of our achievements, some of our challenges, what worked, what hadn't worked, and we kind of like the idea of turning this into a regular thing every year, checking in to let you guys know what's been going on, give you a little bit of an insight, and hopefully either inspire you or give you some pitfalls to look out for in your own business. So this promises to be a great show. Without any further ado, I'd like to welcome to the Membership Guys podcast, Callie Willows.
Woohoo! It's only taken a year, but I'm back on the show.
Well, you know, I think a year is enough time to to cycle back around. And, you know, we joke about this all the time, but actually, anytime you're on the show, the download numbers spike. I've got no idea why.
I have my fans.
She's got her Callieites. All right, so we're just going to be reflecting on what's happened over the past year, the story as it continues. The sequel, quite often the sequels aren't better than the original, but we'll kind of try and make this one an improvement over episode 60. If you haven't listened to episode 60 and you want a bit of an insight into year one of the Academy, then check that out. If you go over to the show notes for this episode, themembershipguys.com/113, then we'll link off to that episode if you want more of an insight into our first 12 months. But for this show, we're mostly going to be looking at what's happened over the past year. And when we left off in episode 60, we were just about to launch our private small group coaching mastermind, the Membership Accelerator. We had just recently redesigned the Membership Guys website, I think maybe like a week or two before.
Yeah, just a week or two.
Did we actually unveil that before our birthday, or was it on?
Yeah, we did, because we got impatient.
Yeah, we got impatient. I think we were supposed to be holding it back for our birthday celebration, but we kind of thought, you know what, let's just get it out there. I think as well, I'm a big fan of getting multiple bites of the apple. So, you know, if you can get a lot of buzz and make some noise about the new website design, and then a week later make a lot of noise about the fact it's our birthday, then, you know, it's two bites of the apple instead of wrapping it all up in one. You're looking at me with a funny look on your face. You've heard me blather on about biting it.
That's why I've got the funny look on the face.
This is the problem. This is why we don't get Callie on the show, because she hears a lot of the gibberish that I talk day in, day out, and she does not suffer it gladly.
Because most of the time you've stolen it from me in the first place.
That's all right. You've started already. We're like 4 minutes into this and you're starting already.
I'll behave now.
Okay. So, yeah, we just redesigned the Membership Guys website, and we were also only a month out from having increased the prices for Member Site Academy for the first time since we launched. And so, you know, we'd had that initial influx of members that came as a result from the promotion we did around the price increase, but we had no real way of knowing whether that was going to knock on to sign-ups, to churn, and all that sort of stuff long term. So we left things off in a pretty good state. We'd had a good first year, good growth, everything going well. We had that stuff in progress. How's it all gone since then, Callie?
Yeah, I think it's been a pretty good year. I'm certainly happy with how it's all gone. You know, always little areas that we can improve and work on, but I think year two's treated us really well.
Yeah, I would agree. It's it's been a good year. Just continued growth, getting more and more visible, more opportunities coming up, getting to know, I think, our audience. The more the membership grows, the more insight we get, the more people progress through their journey, the better it equips us to be able to help them and others progress as well. So it's been another great year. There's definitely been some challenges that we've had. We're going to talk about those later. But yeah, it's all kind of been good. And we mentioned that when we did leave off in episode 60, that we were just about to launch Membership Accelerator. The Accelerator sold out fast.
Yeah, we were really surprised by the actual response to that. And, we actually ended up with, I think, nearly double the number of people that we were intended to open it to, purely because I'm just incapable of saying no. So
we didn't want to turn anybody away.
Yeah, so we ended up with more people on that than we intended. We never opened it to the public because our existing members took all the spots, which is always
that was a good thing.
Nice thing. Yeah. So that went well. It was a good project.
Yeah, it was very much oversubscribed. We ended up, if you haven't listened back to episode 60, the Accelerator was essentially a small group mastermind that involved personal one-on-one calls, as well as group calls, a little bit of private forum support, and it was designed around helping people speed up their plans with a little bit more direct one-on-one support from us than we're able to offer within the membership. It's just for that kind of small percent of people who just need that little bit more.
Yeah, and I think the thing we quickly realised that though was that, originally the Accelerator was going to be more focused on the small group masterminds, and it quickly became apparent that actually most of the people that joined the Accelerator really were most concerned about the one-to-one calls with us. They weren't as bothered about the group masterminds. So we kind of pivoted a little bit.
Yeah, they were there for us, and I think some people still values the group calls, but they kind of use that more as just open Q&A as opposed to a traditional sort of mastermind structure where everyone takes turns with hot seats and stuff like that, which is the kind of first iteration. So we've gone through 2 6-month cycles with the Accelerator since then, and after that first 6 months, we sat down, we reviewed how things had gone, we reviewed the stuff that worked really well, and there's some things that we changed and pivoted as we were going based on feedback. And then for that second round, some people stayed on from the first round, others were really in a place where they needed to go away and just take action.
Implement.
Yeah. Just implement and, focus purely on that, and then perhaps come back later down the road. So for the second intake, we limited the numbers further. We definitely found that being oversubscribed for that first batch of people coming in, that was awesome. It was great that so many people so desperately wanted to be a part of the Accelerator, to the point where it didn't even go public because they snapped up all the spots within a matter of days. It's a nice thing, it's a flattering thing, but it wasn't necessarily conducive to fitting it around what we want to do and making sure that everyone was getting the best of us. So that second go round, with the second kind of intake for the Accelerator, we limited the spaces. We also
added tiers in, so there was different options of support available.
Yeah, so we had a premium tier, which essentially was for weekly calls, and we also had a version which was forum only, so it was online only, private communications with us, plus the Q&A calls, but there was no one-on-one coaching element as well. The main offering, the main Accelerator, was still the most popular out of those, but having the other options enabled us to serve people in different ways, or to be able to help people who maybe didn't have the budget to go for the main Accelerator but did need that little bit more direct access and direct support from us. So it went well, and we've still got the Accelerator ongoing at the moment. We are at the end of another 6-month run, and so it's that time where we'll be sitting down, we'll be reviewing how the past 6 months have gone and making decisions on the next stage for the Accelerator in the context of everything else in our business. Because throughout everything, and I think this is key for membership site owners, expanding your offering, you need to make sure you have that good balance so that you don't lose focus on your membership. For us, the Academy is the absolute number one priority over anything else. And so any decisions about whether to bring out new products, new offerings, continue on stuff that we've already been doing, the first thing we look at is the impact on the main membership site. And any decisions have to tick the box on making sure they're not obstructing us from doing things we want to do with the membership. So that's going to be something we'll be digging into in the next weeks and months.
Yeah, Member Site Academy is definitely the heart of everything we do and always will be, I think.
Yeah, and I think it kind of needs to be if you're running a membership. You need to want your membership to be the center of your business and your world. And by all means, you can have memberships that are kind of supplementary to service businesses, or it's just something you do on the side. But I think to really be a membership owner, to really build a business around a membership, you need to want that to be the centerpiece to everything that you do, and that's certainly the case for us.
And I do think that there's kind of that myth that kind of a membership business can't be your main business. I was having kind of, let's say, an online discussion.
An argument, people.
Yes.
An argument. That's polite terminology for an online argument.
Yeah, with somebody online the other day who was saying that you could never make enough money with a membership website for it to be your core business, and that unless you were doing high level coaching or you were selling online courses and things as well, that it wouldn't work. And yeah, I promptly told them they were wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we've been involved in a number of 7-figure businesses that have ridiculous growth and all that sort of stuff. The Academy itself is a multi 6-figure en route to being 7-figure membership. You can make money with a membership. I think people just get impatient. Or, people will try it and they'll give it like 2 or 3 months and they'll not really go about it the right way and it won't work for them, and so they write it off. And that's the same for pretty much everything. Look around, you will find people saying the exact same thing about courses, consultancy, coaching, Facebook ads, everything.
Yeah. You can't compare the length of time it takes to get to a certain place with a $50 membership as to selling a 1 or a 2 grand course.
Yeah, and memberships are slow burn, they are a marathon, but the upside of that is that you don't have the peaks and troughs, you don't have the feast and famine kind of approach that you'll often have if you're launching courses, or if you've got high ticket products, or you're working with clients. So yeah, there was probably the wrong person to pick that argument with, someone who actually runs a successful membership website. Try and tell them that you can't have a successful membership website as the core of your business. Crazy. Anyway, so obviously the accelerator was kind of where we left off on the last episode a year ago. The price increase that we ran, it went well. We ran a big promotion using the fact that the price was going up as a deadline. So it was kind of a reverse discount. Join before this date in order to lock in the lower pricing before it goes up. That worked very, very well. And it's not had any impact on sign-up numbers or on churn. If anything,
I mean, our sign-up numbers are double what they were this time last year, if not more. So the price hasn't really affected things at all.
No.
I kind of see that as being our sweet spot with the pricing, and I don't particularly, I'm not in a hurry to raise it any higher or think we should raise it any higher.
Yeah, I agree. Typically a B2B membership, you're looking at between $35 to maybe $70. And I think we have hit the sweet spot. I think you're right there. I think especially when you look at some of the things, other memberships on the market, other solutions on the market, I think we're at around about the right place. I don't see another price increase on the horizon anytime soon. I think any future price increase would essentially be like in line with inflation. Yeah. So it'll be like, maybe in 10 years' time, we might be charging $10 a month extra. But I think in terms of strategic price increases, I don't see us wanting to put that up any higher. And, we maybe get 1 or 2 people grumble about the price, but you're always going to be too expensive for someone. You're always going to be too cheap for someone else. You get that kind of contrasting thing when it comes to pricing. One person will tell you you're way too expensive. Another person will say, well, I didn't join because you're too cheap. So I figured that, you can't possibly be offering all this amazing value at $50 a month. That sounded so like a promo and cheesy, but really hopefully you guys get what I mean with that. You can't make everyone happy. You shouldn't try to. And no matter how low you price yourself, you will get people telling you that the reason they didn't join was price or the reason they left was price. And that's fine. They're just kind of excluding themselves as a customer, and maybe sometime in the future they'll change their perspective on that. So price increase went well. The Membership Guys site redesign was extremely well received as well. We're going to talk a little bit more about the impact that that's had for us too. So in terms of the, I suppose, cliffhangers in the last episode, it's all positive. It's all kind of thumbs up on that front. So apart from that stuff, what else have we been up to in the past year? What's kind of worked well for us, Callie? Because my memory sucks. My memory's terrible. You have to tell me what we've been doing.
Well, we've been doing a lot of travelling this year, it seems. We've been to a lot of events. You've been speaking at quite a few events, which is obviously quite a big change over the previous year. So we've been getting out of the house a little bit more.
That's not. I'm not knowing whether that's a good thing or a bad thing for the people who interact with us. But no, I think last year, again, around about just a month or two before we recorded the last roundup, we'd done a couple of member meetups, and we were sort of increasing the events that we were going to. But definitely the last year has seen a lot more opportunities open up in terms of being invited to speak at events, to take part in panels, to be involved in, web summits, podcast interviews, guest blog articles, all that sort of stuff. Those kind of opportunities are really starting to open up. And obviously with that travel, a big part of what we've been doing is just trying to find ways of really maximizing that time to do member meetups. We love member meetups.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favourite things is getting to actually meet and speak with our members in the flesh.
And, even for times where maybe it hasn't been appropriate for a member meetup. So, for example, I've just come back from LA where I was at Podcast Movement. I was speaking on a panel there. And, those guys there are podcasters first and foremost in most cases. And while we did have members there were a lot of podcasting meetups. So timing just wasn't working out, and a few other things didn't quite line up to do a member meetup. But even just seeing those guys and having a quick coffee and walking around the exhibitors hall, again, one of the reasons is actually a lot of our members were speakers there, which made it a little more challenging to do a meetup. But just catching up with these guys and seeing them in person is just awesome. It's still one of my favorite things about what we do. So, we've been doing a lot more of that.
We also ran our first live event ourselves as well. So we ran a one-day workshop over in San Diego. We had 12 people, was it?
It was kind of a high-ticket workshop. It was right on the back of Social Media Marketing World as well, which was cool. But the awesome thing about that
was the venue.
Well, it was the venue, but we'll talk about the venue in a second. The awesome thing about that workshop was actually the fact that we timed it to happen right after Social Media Marketing World to take advantage of the fact that a lot of people in our audience were in town. But actually, I think at least half of the people in the room travelled to San Diego just for that workshop.
No pressure there.
Yeah. It's one thing to kind of say, oh, we'll come to your workshop because we're around anyway, so why not? It's an entirely other thing to say, okay, I'm going to fly halfway across the country just for you guys. So a little bit of pressure there, but I think based on feedback we delivered, the venue helped in a lot of ways.
It was an awesome venue. Awesome venue. It
was kind of a reconditioned old bank vault that was under just a Marriott Courtyard hotel. So just
venue.
So just kind of a budget range hotel that had this incredible repurposed bank vault in the basement that they turned into a meeting room. And so we did our mastermind there, and that was awesome. That was really, really awesome. So those sorts of things, that kind of next stage type of prioritization, I think, and focus has been a big part of this past year. As the membership has continued to grow, our audiences continue to grow, we've become more visible, more opportunities have opened up. It's really been about trying to find the best ways of capitalizing on all of that without getting too distracted. It's very easy to get distracted. Yeah. What we do is a very specific, very niche product market. And so, public speaking for the most part, we're not going to stand up on stage and get a room, like everyone in the room, to sign up as members. So the reasons we do speaking or participate in panels and go on podcasts and stuff like that isn't necessarily for the same reasons that other people might want to be a speaker. So we've needed to make sure that we're able to leverage that stuff in different ways. And, you know, I think we're kind of getting there. I think doing events of our own to piggyback on larger events is probably going to be a big part of what we do going forward.
Definitely. And I'd love to run our own larger event as well eventually.
Yeah, for sure. I would say as well, you know, closer to home, a big part of what's been working for us over the last year has been really refining what we do. So, you know, it's not one big strategy or, you know, the killer Facebook ads campaign or anything like that. You know, what works for us, for past clients, for members in our community is consistent marketing activity. It's consistently doing things like content marketing. It's showing up. It's encouraging members to advocate for you. It's all that organic marketing typically works better than any sort of silver bullet strategy. So with us, it's been more about refinement than chasing the next in marketing tactic. That's largely been centered around really doubling down on segmentation in our content. So, you know, when we plan out our content, being a little more mindful of the key segments in our audience, people who are planning, building, launching, growing, and making sure that we're catering to people at various stages of the journey rather than just throwing out whatever we feel like talking about that week. That's been a big part of it. Improving opt-in, so the opt-in lead magnets, again, making sure that we've got something for the different stages rather than just having one kind of generic opt-in for people.
Yeah, but our generic opt-in is 10 times better now as well. The membership roadmap
the roadmap's
is so
awesome.
popular.
So again, doubling down on that segmentation when it comes to creating and planning our opt-ins, when it comes to the emails we're actually sending to people once they've opted in. You know, if someone reads a blog article that is geared towards people who already have their membership and then they opt in for a freebie that is developed for someone who already has their membership, we don't want to send them something that talks about membership plugins or talks about planning your idea. So, you know, just making sure that that segmentation is consistent throughout all of our marketing activities has helped us really improve conversions, signups, open rates, all that sort of stuff, because we're making sure that everything we're putting out there is relevant to the person reading it according to the information we have on them from what they've opted in for, from what they've told us is the stage they're at in their journey. That helps us make sure our messages are more relevant. It's more in tune to what they care about. And as a result, they're more likely to actually join up because they understand specifically why the Academy is suited to them rather than just having the broad strokes of what the Academy is about. Another thing in terms of refinement is the pre-frame for our members. So we obviously survey members when they leave the Academy. We avoid the first question just being, why, God, why did you leave our website?
Oh, you haven't seen my new survey then.
Yeah, that may have found its way back into the cancellation survey. But obviously we do ask people, you know, what's the main motivator? What's the main reason you joined? What's the main reason you've left? And what we were finding once we kind of had enough data to really get you know, an analysis that meant something, was that we were getting a higher than we would have liked amount of people who were changing their minds on whether to create a membership, or they had joined not having fully decided that a membership is something they want to do, and then when they looked at the Academy, when they actually understood what a membership entailed and the work that was involved and all the moving pieces, they then decided against it. So, you know, we're not a business built on $49 sales. It doesn't serve us, and it definitely doesn't serve our members if they are joining up and then changing their mind about memberships. So that really kind of motivated us to focus a little more on the education that people get before they join memberships, to make sure that they understand what's involved, that we're helping them to decide before they paid any money for anything, whether a membership site is actually right for them. And so, you know, we've created a free workshop, we've written more blog articles and done more podcast episodes that is designed to make sure that people are fully equipped with what they need to know about memberships, and that it's a realistic representation of memberships. It's not selling the dream.
Yeah, and I think that's something we've always kind of stayed away from. We don't want to convince anybody that they should have a membership site. You know, we love memberships. We think they're a great business model, but they're definitely not for everybody. They're not for every business. And we don't want to be getting people to create membership sites where it's not a good fit for them.
Yeah, and that makes things a little more challenging on the marketing front for us. We experienced this when we hired a Facebook ads expert to work with in terms of putting together some campaigns, and it pretty much confirmed the stuff that we'd done previously ourselves with Facebook ads, in that unless you are aiming to kind of go far and wide and convince people that memberships are amazing, it's actually difficult to target people who have already decided that a membership is for them. So it would be easier for us to really, really go overboard on selling the benefits of memberships and trying to convince people to have a membership. But that doesn't make for members who stick around long term. That doesn't make for long-term success. We want people who are already past that point. So we need people who are at step 2. They know what a membership entails. They're passionate and enthusiastic about creating a membership. They just need the guidance, the tools, the resources, the training to actually make that happen, to build it, to launch it, to grow it, and all of that sort of stuff. So I think getting clarity that that's our approach of not selling the dream and not trying to talk anyone into building a membership is right. It does make things a little more challenging, but it is more rewarding for us, and also it's better for members too, because we don't want people changing their mind, because that makes us feel a little like we've let them down in a way, even though that's...
Nobody wants to see Mimo crying into his cornflakes.
Exactly. So, a little bit more focus on that pre-frame and making sure that we are helping people make a decision about memberships before they come in and that they are fully equipped. That has helped us improve our churn. It's helped us to help people more because we know that they're coming in ready, equipped, fully informed, and it's just a case of helping them along the path there. So that's, I would say, been a big part of the refinement we've been doing over the last year.
Yeah, and I think another huge thing is Academy 2.0.
Yeah.
So, we spent a large chunk of this year working behind the scenes on a huge range of improvements and enhancements to the membership site, to the Academy, because, we always talk about the fact that, your membership's ever evolving, and the same's exactly true for ours. So we've spent a large part of this year refining what we're offering as well. And that launched a month ago now, the new version of the Academy 2.0, as we affectionately call it. And, that's been awesome. It's brought the brand more in alignment with the membership guys. It's added some great new features and functionality. And I'm really liking it. Yeah,
it's got great feedback. That was a big labor of love for both of us. It's mainly, in terms of the look and the feel have been refreshed and updated, and the branding's been brought into alignment. But probably the biggest improvements have been made in onboarding and managing cancellations. So those are a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more robust. We, have stuff in place now that just makes it easier to get people into those early positive habits, getting them into the community, getting them using the roadmap feature of the Academy, just making sure people are getting off to the right start. And then on the cancellation front, again, just that process of helping us to get more information, helping us to essentially salvage the member relationship in case, if someone's leaving because they don't have the time, or maybe they're leaving because they have achieved what they want to achieve. That last one in particular, sometimes people are coming in, maybe viewing the Academy as, okay, this is somewhere you come to formulate your idea. And then once I've got my idea, and then once I'm launched, job done. But actually, we all know that the real work starts once your membership has launched. And so Again, Academy 2.0, we brought stuff in so that as part of the cancellation process, if someone says, okay, I've achieved what I joined for, we ask them what it is they set out to achieve. And then if they say, I joined to launch my website, we just make sure that they are aware that we can help them with those next stages and so on. So, there's lots of bells and whistles. There's a nice refresh of the design and all that sort of stuff. But Academy 2.0 has been predominantly about the onboarding and the cancellation side of things. And we're seeing positive results from that as well. So I think the key to this is just to continuously look for ways to improve your membership. That doesn't have to be all singing, all dancing in the way that ours is, because the standard we have to have for our membership is way higher than the average person, just because we are the membership guys. If you're the membership guys, you need to have the most badass membership in the world. So that sets the bar very high for us. You don't need to clear that higher bar with most memberships, but just that continuous evolution of your product and that commitment to product excellence should be a core part of what you do. And again, the focus on onboarding, engaging, retention. That's where the real gold is in a membership. And too many people are chasing the golden geese in terms of marketing strategies when you should be focusing on the inside of your membership. And, already Academy 2.0 is out. We're already looking at, okay, so what's Academy 3.0? What's the next thing? What's the next thing?
Let me have a nap first.
Yeah, we maybe need a little bit of a break because that was a lot of work. And I would say the another main thing that's really been working well for us over this past year that we've ramped up a bit is the transparency that we have in our membership. I would say it's pretty unprecedented in this space, or indeed in most spaces. I touched on it there about the fact that if you are the membership guys, you are the leading experts on memberships, you need to have the most shining jewel of a membership site that there is. And we know for a fact that even though, obviously in the academy, you get the tools, you get the training, you get the courses, you get the community, you get all that stuff. But there's also another element. There's the academy as a resource, and there's the academy as a case study. And we know that a lot of people in our membership, they model what we do. They don't just listen to what we say, they watch what we do. They look at our website and they try to read between the lines and sometimes they look at the website and they look at it in terms of features. And they focus on, well, I want that cool feature. But actually, the real successful, real savvy ones, they look at the reasoning behind the feature. What does that feature enable you to do? What does the roadmap accomplish, as opposed to how sexy and how cool is the roadmap? So the academy as a case study and the membership guys as a case study is a huge, huge thing. And we've tried to really bring that out even more for our members over this past year.
Yeah, and I think we've kind of done that in two ways. So we'd previously done the occasional kind of behind the scenes workshop, and now that's a regular thing. So I think every month, 2 months, we do a behind the scenes workshop on something we're doing in our own membership site. So this month, for example, it's been on our onboarding. So as Mike mentioned, we've put whole new onboarding processes in place. So the behind the scenes workshop shows our members exactly what we've done.
Yeah, and with that, we're not teaching onboarding theory. We've got courses for that that are onboarding. We're showing you practical walkthrough. This is what we're doing.
And this is why we're doing it.
This is why we're doing it. This is what we were doing. These were the results. This is what we're now doing. This is what we're hoping for. And then in a few months' time, this is what the results of that was. So it's not theory. It's working practical insight into a successful, fast-growing membership site, and it's gold.
Yeah, and we've done those kind of workshops on things like our funnels, which that was a hugely popular one. People being able to see actually what we're doing for our own sales funnels and planning and things like that. And the other thing that I absolutely love, which we recently started, is the membership lab. So I'm really excited about this. And this is kind of where we just show real-time experiments that we're doing in the academy. So we let our members know this is something we're going to try. This is how we're doing it. And these are the results.
Yeah, and the great thing with that is, with this stuff, we're not doing something and then teaching afterwards to say, okay, here's this new strategy everyone needs to do. We are doing it real time. We are saying, this is something we're trying. This is our thinking behind it. This is how we're going to assess whether it's a good thing. And you can just follow along with us, and we'll update that as we go. So we're just doing it through the forum at the moment. It's not a shiny, polished, packaged up piece of content. It's just an evolving thing. And the great thing about that is, if we try something out and it flops, that is still valuable to our members, because that might save them lots of money and lots of time, and there's lessons to be extracted from that. So, with that, I mean, so far, I think we're up to our third experiment now. So we've run experiments on sending personalized welcome videos, and we've shared the ins and outs of that, and we've shared, okay, this is the system we're using, this is the template we use, this is how we set them up, these are the numbers, these are the effects from a qualitative and a quantitative point of view. And it's been really popular. We've our second experiment was, Callie, you did this,
showing people who were visiting our sales page multiple times an offer for a 7-day trial, a 7-day $1 trial.
Yeah, so it was running a promo to repeat visitors on our site for a limited time, and so again, that was something where we were able to crunch down the tech, crunch down the strategy, show the results, show an outcome. Would we do this again? All that sort of stuff. And, the one we're currently running at the minute is using Facebook bots, so Facebook Messenger, for communicating with existing members. Again, that's just kicking off. But it's this sort of stuff. It almost allows us to be the crash test dummy of memberships. And I'll say honestly, for us, it gives us more of an impetus to continuously try new things, because we are enjoying steady growth. The vast majority of that growth comes through just organic, consistent activity. So doing what we've been doing all along, putting out great content on the blog and the podcast, showing up, having a presence on the Facebook group. Like, there's not much you can write about that stuff. There's not much you can talk about that stuff. And when all that stuff's working well for you, it can be easy to rest on your laurels and to get complacent. So the lab really gives us more of a reason to keep trying new things without the pressure of, okay, well, we don't want to spend this money on this thing, because if it doesn't work, it's been a waste. If something doesn't work and we spent a load of money on it, we've paid for the lesson that we can then teach to other people. So again, that level of unprecedented transparency, I think, has really ramped up engagement and enabled us to serve our member base, especially ones who've had a membership for a while. They've got the core of their business down pat. It's really enabled us to serve in a different way. And we love it. We enjoy that stuff, and our members are loving it too. So yeah, I would say, in terms of the main things that have been working, the main stuff that we've been up to in the past year, Academy 2.0 has been a big part of that. The traveling, the speaking. But, outside of that, continued innovation, continuing to put out good content, being consistent, continuously looking for ways to up the ante in terms of how we're serving our members. And it's paying off.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I think it's important to point out there, behind all of that is just what's good for our members. What's going to help us help our members even more. Exactly.
We put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be the best. Some of that is because, again, as I said before, if you claim the mantle as membership leaders, your membership, well, first of all, you need to have a membership. Secondly, that membership needs to be impeccable. And so, we're always pressuring ourselves to raise the standard and raise the bar. And, we do that on multiple fronts. But this year, I think, has probably been a shift into another gear. So, Callie, what would you say have been your highlights from the last year? What's been your number one highlight, would you say, from August 2016 to now?
Number one highlight has definitely been the workshop we ran in San Diego. I enjoyed every aspect of that, from the planning of it, from creating the actual presentation, from creating the workbook. I've never been as proud of something as I have of the workbook that I created for this workshop. especially because I created it on the flight from
London. That's a great. I love that story though, because with that, like we'd mapped out the topics, we'd created the workshop itself, but we knew we wanted to give people this real awesome workbook to complete. We wanted it so, we've been to workshops before that we've loved, we've learned stuff on the day, and we've gone away fully intending to take action and do all this stuff, and then life gets in the way. And then 6 months later, you don't have anything you can call back on. Maybe you've got a printout of the slides or something like that. So we knew we wanted to give people a workbook that would essentially be a tool that they could use 3 months, 6 months down the line, if for whatever reason they weren't able to implement right away or they need to go back. So that workbook was real important, and I'd love to say that I contributed to it. The workshop came in the middle of a crazy month of traveling.
Yeah, you were busy preparing your talk for TTT, so the kind of preparing for the workshop and all of that kind of fell onto me.
A lot of that fell on your shoulders, yeah. And
but the good thing with that is I love that kind of thing.
Yeah. This is Callie's forte, and so I'm more a show up and wing it kind of guy. Callie is the more sensible, the more pragmatic, the more organised, and that's why it works. But with that month was insane. We flew out to the Philippines. We were over in the Philippines for, was it a week? Over a week? 10 days. We flew. This seemed like a good idea at the time, right, guys? You'll have to believe me on this. It seemed like a great idea to fly back to the UK on the Friday, stay in the UK for the weekend, and then fly out to San Diego on the Monday. So the Philippines are 8 hours ahead of the UK. The US on the West Coast is 8 hours behind the UK, and for some reason we figured coming back and doing a few days here would be preferable to just flying from the Philippines to San Diego. It didn't work out that way. And so, the workbook was created on the flight from London to San Diego by Callie while I slept the whole way.
Yeah, Mike slept and I spent 12 hours creating what, if I do say so myself, and I don't big myself up often, but a pretty awesome workbook.
It was very good, but it was supposed to be something where it was kind of, okay, well, we can sit and plan this out, and you can type it up and all that sort of stuff, but we'll throw ideas back and forth. It'll be great working on this together on the plane. Yeah, I think it worked out for the best, though. Yeah. It worked out for the best because the end result was great, and I had an amazing night's sleep.
You did, but yeah, that was definitely my highlight from planning it to actually running it. I was quite nervous about the running of it because I don't tend to do live in-person stuff much. I love the membership side and teaching there, but actually it turns out I love the teaching in person just as much. So I really loved that. I loved making sure everybody was having a good time. Yeah. I loved making sure that everybody was
and
happy.
We went all out, we went all out in the venue. We wanted to make it memorable. Again, it's about creating experiences for people, whether it's workshops, whether it's one-on-one client stuff, whether it's your membership. It's about that experience and getting people to talk. We picked a memorable, interesting venue because we wanted people to remember it, because we want people to take pictures and videos and put it on social and all that sort of stuff, and because it was damn cool. The workbook, we wanted people to take that away and to be able to use it, not just to say, I remember that great workshop, I didn't really implement anything from it. We wanted to give them something that was a utility. And, we went above and beyond on the catering. We stuck around afterwards and had dinner with those attendees who were able to hang back for a good few hours, and we just hung out with them, and it was awesome. It was a really great experience. I loved that. I know that's your top highlight. It's close to my top highlight, but I think pipping that for me is speaking a tropical think tank over in the Philippines.
That was pretty cool.
It was seriously cool. It's, for anyone who's not aware of Tropical Think Tank, it was an annual event run by Chris Ducker from youpreneur.com, and is a high-level, high-ticket, exclusive masterminding event. You get some extremely smart people in the room, and if I do say so myself, some smart speakers to go with them. But you can't just turn up and do a stock and standard 30-40 minute keynote speech there. The pressure is on because these guys are paying big money to be in the room and they expect something big from the talk. So That was a lot of pressure. You know, there was a lot of faith put there. I believe I delivered based on feedback, but that was fun.
You got a standing ovation.
Yeah, that was very cool. And the coolest thing about it, though, like the location was amazing. All the other speakers were incredible. You had people like Carrie Wilkerson, who is just a legend. Peter Shankman, who's hilarious. Mike Vardy, Jeff Goins, Jimmy Masters. I'm regretting doing this list now because I'm going to miss some people
Grant Baldwin.
Grant Baldwin, man, we had Grant Baldwin. That's pressure for you. Someone who teaches public speaking, watching you public speaking, and especially when it's someone like Grant who's top of his craft. Who else did we have? Mike Vardy from the Productivities, Sean Stevenson, who made everyone feel a little bit guilty about their diet and their sleep and their routines, but was just such a nice, cool guy, him and his partner Anne. Amazing lineup, great crowd to be involved with. But the most amazing thing of all was knowing that we had some members in the room. I've said this is an event that attracts some very small people, and the fact we had 3 members in the room there, who had travelled over, and we were
not to see us,
not just to see us, but to be able to spend some time with those guys somewhere like
in that
kind of environment. To go to the Philippines and to have members in the audience still boggles my brain. And some more of the people in the room have since become members. Some of the speakers have become members. I mean, Chris Ducker's a member, but he doesn't count because it's his shindig. But that was just amazing. I think that kind of opens your eyes to the sort of reach that you can have. So that was my highlight, followed probably by the workshop in San Diego, followed by unveiling Academy 2.0, because that was just, I think, a relief from all the work more than anything else. But I would say, and this might sound cheesy, that beyond those highlights, the biggest thing has been the fact we've been able to witness some incredible wins, some incredible results, some incredible developments from our members.
Yeah, I absolutely love getting to know our members and seeing them either go from idea to launch to successful membership site, and seeing members come in as well who already have a membership site and they're able to take it to that next level. And that, for me, just makes absolutely everything worth it.
It's it's the little personal things as well. I mean, one of our members, Mark, who he already had a membership that was successful, but it was taking like so much time and so much work. Just the fact he was able to reorganize and restructure things in his membership and take time out to take his kids to Disneyland, like little things like that. And for a lot of people, that's not so little. For a lot of people, that's what it's about. We've got John, who went from a situation where he was sharing a flat with a housemate to now buying this incredible house with this huge basement that he's converted into a recording studio, and he keeps posting photos of.
So jealous of that.
Yeah, to make us jealous, because it's incredible. But that sort of stuff, again, it sounds cheesy to kind of say, well, the most important thing to us is our community and our members. But listen, we live these guys day in, day out. Like, we celebrate these wins. We feel these wins with them because there are people, and because our motivation for creating the membership site, yes, it's to serve people and to help people and all of that. But, we had our own life-related reasons for it. For us, it's always been more about how we make our money than how much money we make. We are blessed to be in a position where we're getting the best of both sides of that, but it's always been more about creating a life for ourselves where we're not stressed, where we're not subject to crazy clients and demanding deadlines and all of that sort of stuff. So seeing those quality of life wins, as well as the financial wins, as well as just try the strategy, converted better, those kind of cold, hard numbers wins. We love seeing that stuff, but those quality of life wins and those life upgrades, like knowing that you play a part in that is just amazing. And I think for both of us, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn speaking for you on this, it's probably the most fulfilling thing of what we do.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. And I take it as a huge privilege as well that we have members now who've been with us for 2 years.
From
we have
day one,
huge amount of our members,
and some who've committed for year 3 as well. Our annual members who signed up on day 1, who another go around, we're going for year 3, and I think it's a massive testament to us. And I think you need to find that for your own membership. You know, it's very easy to become jaded, especially we're in year 2 now. There's always a risk that you take things for granted, that you get complacent. You need to find the joy in your membership. You need to find your reason for doing it. You need to really root for your members, to brag about them, to want them to succeed. And, you know, when you do that and you make that a big part of your motivation and you let that drive everything you do in your membership site, then it feels good. It feels good when you see them succeed. Because when they succeed, whether it's a small thing, you know, you might have a membership that can change people's lives. You might just have a membership that satisfies someone's hobby or shared interest and isn't necessarily life-changing. But you can make a little positive difference, whether it's a huge difference or a tiny little difference. It feels good. Really does.
It does. And it's a positive difference that our membership sites make to other people as well.
Yeah,
so there's that knock-on domino
grandfathering, isn't it? It's like...
So it's like one of our members who the other week, you know, he started his membership and he posted a win about the fact that he'd had his first 3K month with the membership, and that was the first 3K he'd made online, which is awesome enough in itself. But his membership site is helping people overcome drug addiction who are in rehab and things. So not only is he, you know, this being successful for him, but he's helping people with this site as well. And I love that.
Yeah, that's incredible. It's awesome. So yeah, it's getting a little mushy, a little saccharine. So before we get a little bit too much into movie of the week territory, what else have we been up to over the last year? What have we been doing?
Well, we wrote a book.
We wrote a book. We keep forgetting about that.
We do forget about it.
We honestly do. And full transparency, a lot of you guys who have been around for the last couple of years with us and who have been on this journey with us may remember we did a 30-day challenge when we were very first launching. We talk a bit about that in episode 60, where we do our 12-month review. We did a 30-day challenge. We retired that. And, you know, for a variety of reasons, but we had awesome material that Callie had created. We had since developed a whole bunch of additional material that tied into all of that. And so the book was largely a marriage of those two things. So we were taking some raw materials and writing around those to create something that's a more comprehensive step-by-step guide to planning, building and then launching your membership. So the book is Member Machine. It came out in December. 5-star reviews. I think 1 4-star. You know when
There's always one.
There's always a 4-star review, but where the comments are very much 5-star, but they leave 4. I kind of almost
just to keep your ego.
I kind of almost respect that in a way. So you know, if you haven't read it, it's over on Amazon. If you're a member of the Academy, I believe, do we just have we have like a PDF copy somewhere, or you know, we've got a 30-day challenge up in the library. But yeah, check it out if you haven't already. That was an accomplishment, wasn't it? I think the problem was it came like nearly at Christmas time.
It was when we were doing the advent calendar.
Yeah,
that was quite fun.
We were doing an advent calendar promotion, a month-long promo around an advent calendar theme, which was just great. That got such a better reaction than I expected because we'd done that for a client before and it tanked. It just tanked. It was so much work and it just didn't, like, not for us, but for them, so much work in terms of creating stuff for each of the days. And it just didn't go down with their audience whatsoever. So for some reason, even though we knew it tanked...
It was my fault. I was like, I want to do this. Yeah. I'll do it all. You don't have to do anything. Just let me do this.
Yeah.
And so we did that and it worked really well.
Yeah, so the lesson is if you want something to work, you let Callie do it. You don't interfere. But that went really well. But we also, as we said, we released the book to coincide with one of the days there. And I think the problem with that is it was near Christmas. And also once the book was done, it was like, great, this is done. What's the next thing?
Yeah.
But it's a great book. We've sold a whole bunch of copies of it. People who've come along to our events have had copies. Check it out on Amazon, Member Machine, or head over to membermachine.biz. There's my little shill for that book. Yeah, check it out. If you like it, leave us a nice, shiny 5-star review. Ignore my comments about the 4-star stuff before. So yeah, we wrote a book. We've also had various other speaking opportunities I mentioned before. I've had the honor of sitting on panels at Social Media Marketing World alongside, you know, some of the people who I look up to and respect above most others in this space. Podcast movement, where I'm going to be speaking at Upreneur Summit very soon. I was up in an event in Scotland for CMA. So lots of great speaking opportunities, which is awesome. Long may they continue. We also hit episode 100 of the podcast.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is nuts that I haven't run out of stuff to talk about. So if you haven't checked that out, we did a special episode where we brought in, I think there were 12 or 13 membership site owners to give some answers to some common questions around memberships from their experience. That's at themembershipguys.com/100. And speaking of podcasts,
I just launched mine. That's
Callie,
right. For those of the Callie fans out there,
the
Callie has her own
look at you.
podcast.
Don't we said we'll mention the podcast, but not be like, all right, Callie fans, check me out on my show.
You know,
ditch this,
I don't
ditch
have
this
any
rubbish.
fans.
You broke into the top 10 in the business marketing category in less than 24 hours.
I just had the cat repeatedly download on iTunes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm actually not sure you're kidding about that. Behind the Membership, brand new podcast hosted by Callie. And the great thing with this is, if you've been listening to the Membership Guys podcast, it's practical tips and advice from me or the occasional interview with subject matter experts. So we find experts in different fields that have a relation or that I can tie back to memberships, and that's this show. Behind the Membership is something different, and I think in a lot of ways it's something slightly better. I don't want to give you a big head yet, in that it's just conversations with everyday membership owners. People who are known in their respective fields, but maybe aren't known broadly by a lot of our audience, or, in a more mainstream kind of setting. And so it's everyday memberships, sharing warts and all, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, the peaks, the valleys, the stuff that went catastrophically wrong, the stuff that went way better than they would have thought. And it's very cool. You've done very well with that show. It's a good show, he says through gritted teeth.
Have you actually listened to it?
Of course I've listened to it. Of course I listened to it. You may recognise a particularly silky smooth, strange northern accent on the intro, but that's pretty much the only bit of me that you have to put up with on that show. Honestly, check it out. She won't big herself up as much as she should for this, but the reception that Behind the Membership is getting is incredible. It gives Callie a well overdue bit of the limelight, since I've kind of tried banning her from this show. But no, it's good. And it's a seasonal podcast, isn't it? It's released a season at a time.
Yeah. So season 1 is 3 episodes out now, and then it'll be released weekly from now on Thursdays.
Yeah. So if you search iTunes for Behind the Membership, or go to themembershipguys.com/blog, and you'll see the latest episodes in there, and we've got a Behind the Membership category on the site as well that'll pull all those out for you. It is worth a listen. There is gold in them there hills. So lots of awesome stuff. We've been busy.
It's been a busy year.
It has. We need a rest.
Holiday.
Yeah, we are actually having a holiday that isn't connected.
Anything work related.
Yeah. This is kind of when we talk about the great thing about the increased visibility and speaking opportunities and all of that sort of stuff. We love that. We love doing the events and stuff. We love doing our own events. We've got a Mastermind Day coming up in February in San Diego, and November. We love doing that stuff, but it does mean we never get a holiday. Or anytime we take a holiday, it's tagged on the back of work-related stuff. So, we did that. We were in San Diego in March, and we went to Vegas to relax, as strange as that sounds. We went to Vegas to sleep, which may have more to do with the 24-hour Shake Shack than it has to do with Vegas being a particularly peaceful, restful place. But, yeah, we've got a holiday coming up. That'll be awesome. Well needed. But don't worry. The show will still be here, and you'll still get episodes of Behind the Membership as well while we are away, because we plan and prep this stuff in advance. Yeah,
it's not sexy, but systems and processes are fun.
Yeah, so want to talk a little bit about challenges, some of the things that we've dealt with. It's not all been awesome stuff. There have been a few things we've had to battle through a little bit. The first of those, really, this last year is a little bit of an increase in copycats.
Yeah, and we're not talking people with a similar idea here. We're talking people who've outright copied and pasted our content. So we've had a few instances of people just taking our public content, our blog content, and literally copying and pasting it, not even changing examples, and putting it on their own blogs. And it's kind of like, yeah, maybe don't do that.
Yeah, and some of these have been high profile. Now, there's been a couple where what has happened is they've outsourced blog writing. So they've hired freelance writers, and those writers have basically pilfered a bunch of blogs. And, we've had some where they've copied outright. We've had some where they've copied paragraphs from ours and coupled it with paragraphs from other people's sites and all that sort of stuff. So, in those cases, when we've reached out to the actual business owner and said, this is what's happening, sort it out, or we've got a problem, then they've sorted it out straight away, and of course have been apologetic. There have been some less excusable instances where that's happened. We've had people join our membership, consume our content for a few months, then go off and set up essentially a copy of our membership, but having the nerve to say that they are the first and only membership about memberships. It's like, dude,
seriously?
You know that that's not true. I mean, it's one thing to have the stones to just rip us off, but you're really going to try pretending that you're the first person to do this?
And to try and use our sales page to do it.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, we have a lot of members, again, they model our sales page. Some outright use the exact same language. They'll just change membership site to, I don't know, Pet Mortician or something like that. But do we have a Pet Mortician membership? I'm just checking.
Not that I know of.
I'm just checking. So, when that happens, that's fine. It's one thing to take inspiration from and to model what people you look up to are doing. And indeed, we do a similar thing. Everybody does that kind of inspiration taking and modeling. But there is a line, and we've had more and more people crossing it. And more problematically, more people crossing it knowingly and then not doing anything about it when we've called them out on it. So it's something that is kind of growing pains. I think it's something that everyone has to deal with. I think some of the learning for us, or some of the things that we'll probably need to get accustomed to, are the more fringe copycat stuff where people take the concept for your blog post. So they'll take the ideas and they'll take the stuff that you're expressing, but they'll reword it. So they'll rewrite it, but it's still essentially your content, if that makes sense. So the key points you're making, the strategies, the theory that you're talking about, and the general structure and theme and whole inspiration for the post is quite clearly taken from yours. And we've had examples of that where we've been able to see that someone has read our blog post an hour before they publish a near identical version. Those are a little bit harder because it's their words, but it's your stuff, if that makes sense. It's harder to communicate that, as I think I'm demonstrating.
It's harder to call them out on it.
It is harder to call them out on it, other than to say, and I think that's what I say, is listen, we know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Stop, or everyone else is going to know what you're doing. So yeah, that's, those fringe ones, I imagine the more we grow, there's a degree to which we have to let some stuff go, but outright copying and theft of content and that sort of stuff, it's something that we're vigilant about. It's something that we keep an eye out for. And I think it's something, you should aim to do too. Do regular searches for your content. Use services like Copyscape to see if anyone's out there just flat out copying your stuff, and don't hold back when it comes to standing up for yourself on that front. It doesn't matter how big a name the person who's cribbing your stuff is. Call them out on it. Contact them directly. Don't be nicey. Tell them that the next step is legal action. There are processes and there's a procedure for getting infringing content taken down. And, you just need to stand your ground, especially when you know and can prove that you're in the right on this. You don't need to register a blog article as copyright in order for copyright to apply. So, that's something, it's been a challenge. It's, we haven't, touch wood, we haven't had too many issues with it recently. It's been a couple of months since the last main pain in the butt problem we had on that front. But it's something I'm sure isn't going to go away anytime soon. I would say another challenge has been more competition.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more people talking about membership sites these days.
Yeah, and some of it is, when you buy a blue car and then everybody on the road seems to be driving a blue car, I think there's a degree of that at play. We're noticing more and more people talking about memberships because we have our sensors up more than we'd had before. But that's just a part of it. That's a degree of it. There are, without question, when we came with this market, there wasn't really much else out there in terms of memberships or resources for membership site owners. There's a few more things out there. People have a few more options. There's still not really anyone consistently talking about memberships in the way we do and putting out the sort of content that we are and directly serving their community in the way we are. We're still confident that the Academy is the number one resource for membership site owners, bar none, and we'll happily put that up against any other product on the market. And I'm sure that other people who have solutions would say the same thing about theirs. You've got to believe that your product is the best in class, but ours is. But that's it. There's more competition. We knew that coming into the market, coming into the niche, that we were occupying relatively uncrowded space. We knew that it would get more crowded. We've been prepared for it, and it's not hurt us. If anything, it's helped us. Because there's more people talking about it, there's more awareness, there's more impetus for people to want to explore memberships as a topic. And so, more people are looking for it, more people are finding us and joining the Academy as a result. The general fear I think people might have of competition is that it's going to threaten your business, it's going to take customers away from you. But usually what it does is it just makes the pool a little bit larger. And typically, there's more than enough room for everyone, but it is certainly something we've had to be a little more mindful of. And, it's kind of made the emphasis on increasing our visibility and making sure that what we put out there is top notch. It's raised the importance of that for us too.
Yeah, definitely.
And I would say the other big challenge has been growing the team.
Yeah, this year has been, we've done nearly 18 months with just the two of us, essentially.
Just the two of us.
In terms of building up the membership, and it definitely has been time to grow the team.
Yeah,
and start taking on new people, which we've done now, but initially we had a few false starts with finding the right people.
Well, actually, we clung on to managing everything ourselves, and actually, a lot of people over the last couple of years have kind of expressed amazement at how much we get done, how much content we put out, how much presence we have in our community, and all that. And I can't understate just how much of a difference it makes having two people running the business versus just one. That doesn't just mean we get twice as much done. That multiplies the output by more than the input, if that makes sense. It just ramps things up to another level. So we've been able to get quite far with just the two of us. It was actually probably about 14, 15 months, thinking time-wise, where we've been able to have it where it's pretty much just us. But yeah, we had a little bit of a false start when it comes to bringing in someone to help us with the day-to-day kind of tasks that we shouldn't really be focusing our attention on. So, a lot of the stuff around the blog content, the podcast, a lot of the processes. We did hire a VA who started off well, but then kind of just went MIA over Christmas, and then
sent us a Dear John letter.
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange one. It was a very strange one. I think they kind of, it was a bit tricky in that I don't think the work ethic was there, and some of it may have been a cultural thing. Some of it may just not really have been understanding, the topic of the market. And without doubt, some of it would have been us. It's a transition and a learning curve for us, going from us doing everything, especially where you're a little bit of a control freak like me. It's a bit of a learning curve for us, trusting other people to do tasks that we've got nailed. And we've just, we've just kind of got going like clockwork for the last year or so. So, there's probably a degree where it was us, but she did kind of leave us high and dry, didn't she?
Yeah. But it's okay. We've got somebody else on board now.
Yes, we've found somebody better. No, I think that actually, I think some of it for us was we didn't really approach that properly. We kind of figured, okay, we need someone to help us. We need a VA. Let's go out and just get a VA, and let's then just give them the stuff we want to do. And that sounds like the way it should work. But actually, I think just having a wider view and a bigger picture view of where everything fits and having a plan is more important. So, we've actually had someone from within our community, which I think's made a huge difference. Someone who's been with us since very, very early on in the membership. So she gets it. She runs her own membership. She understands the space. And we now have her in the business as essentially an executive assistant, where, not only is she doing the stuff, she's helping us refine the processes around the things that we're doing. And then mid to long term, she's then going to be involved in helping us recruit people to come in and do those tasks while she moves on to the next thing or the more high level thing. We've also got a podcast editor now, so if you've been wondering why the podcasts sound better, it's thanks to James. We've got a graphic designer churning out great graphics. We've got Rob, our amazing Memberoni tech support guy, who's lightening the load for me in a big way. And it's kind of moving nicely. Again, learning curve. There's a lot of work involved in passing work off, developing and documenting processes that you've just kind of had in your head. Like, there's a lot of work involved with that and with training people and all that sort of stuff. But I think we're both feeling the benefit of that in a big way.
Yeah, definitely. It's been, I thought I would have a harder time kind of bringing somebody on board to help with things like email and customer service and community management and things, but it's been quite nice being able to
liberating. And it's just so awesome, like recording a podcast episode and then sticking it in Dropbox, and then somehow magic fairies make it all perfect. Like, they cut out all of my swearing from when I mess up, which I frequently mess up. They make it sound all good. They add it to the website. It's just great. Although, because we want to do this as close to the anniversary as possible, I'll be editing this episode, so it might not sound as good as other ones. It's going to be interesting, me going back to actually doing the editing and the prep work for this one after getting accustomed to someone else doing that for me. So I would say they've been the main challenges: dealing with copycats, an increase in competition, kind of, forcing us to maybe step up a little gear, and growing the team, especially with False Start. But, I'm sure we'll be back in a year's time telling you how those challenges went away and we mastered them and all that sort of stuff.
Can but hope.
Yeah. So speaking of a year's time, as we bring things up to a close, what's the future hold for the Membership Guys Memberside Academy? You're going to disappear off and just, you with your new podcast, you're going to go off, you'll have membershipgirl.com. Check that you own membershipgirl.com.
I will do after I finish this.
So if you check who is for membershipgirl.com and you see it's just been registered, that'll be Callie.
Yeah, but I think the main thing for me is actually just kind of staying focused, staying on track with the academy. It's always going to be about making that as awesome as possible, helping our members as much as possible. The one thing I would love to do more of next year is some more live events, so workshops, masterminds, things like that. So I definitely want to do more of that next year. But otherwise, I really just, I want to make sure that we're making the academy even more awesome.
Yes, without doubt. And staying focused, I think, is the big key. The potential risk on the other side of all these great opportunities that have been opening up to us as we've grown. They're all awesome, but the risk is that it's very easy when that sort of stuff starts happening to get blown off track. So we're extremely mindful of that, because a big part of the success we've been able to enjoy so far has been staying true to what got us here, staying centered and focused on our members, staying laser focused on the topic and the niche. And so, we've turned down quote unquote big names for our podcast where they've approached us wanting to come on the show. We turned them down because we just know they're not the right fit for the audience, because they have a style that goes against the way we think membership should be run. We've turned down people because the topic wasn't really membership related. And so maybe in those early days, if those guys had come and said, I want to be on your show, I probably would have taken them on, because the naive assumption, I think, with things like podcasts or anything like that is that you can kind of trade off the big names you're associated with, and that's going to lead to a listener spike and all that sort of stuff. That's not true. So we're in a nice position to be able to turn down opportunities, to turn down people who, want us to shill their $2,000 course, because we could sell someone else's courses. We could get $1,000 affiliate commission on every unit that we shifted for them. We could do that quite easily, but that wouldn't be in service of our members. And again,
it's not really our style.
It's not our style. And again, it's more about how we make the money than how much money we make. We could have made quite a bit of extra money last year shilling other people's products, like other people's courses that we didn't believe in, but that we knew we could convince our audience to buy. But actually, that's short-term thinking. Our long-term is the integrity of our membership, and that very much relies on us putting our audience first. So that's something that is always central of what we do, and as we move forward, it's something we're keeping our eye on. So Callie mentioned live events. We've got a mastermind day coming up in London in November, which is sold out. It's the first mastermind day that we've done. Our workshop was a combo, a workshop and mastermind. This is pure mastermind. We're almost definitely going to be planning something for San Diego when we're there in February and March next year. And maybe something even bigger in the next year or two, but we'll try not to get too far ahead of ourselves. So this next year, really, a lot of it is just about staying the course, keep delivering great content, keep providing value, keep serving the audience, and keep finding ways to raise the bar with the Academy. We are, again, still kind of beefing out the team and getting those systems and those foundations and stuff in place. And that's going to free us up to further develop things like the roadmap, to further improve.
We've got big changes for the roadmap coming up.
Big changes for the membership roadmap coming up in first or second quarter of next year. Lots of good stuff ahead. But it's for us, it's about making the most of opportunities like speaking ops and events that we're going to, and continued devotion to product excellence. That almost sounds like professional.
We're finally doing a UK meetup as well.
Yes, are we?
In London.
Oh yeah, we are in
November.
London. Yeah, we've never done a UK meetup.
Yeah, so any UK members or anybody that's in London for Youpreneur Summit, let us know, because we'll be doing a meetup in November. Yeah,
we've done meetups in the US. We've done meetups in the Philippines. We've never done a meetup in the UK, even though we're from here. So if that's all we achieve in the next year, it'll be a good achievement, because it's been a long time coming. All right, and of course, we're going to have more seasons of Behind the Membership. We're going to have more episodes of the Membership Guys podcast. We're going to keep doing our thing over in the Facebook group, talkmemberships.com, which we've broken the 5,000 member mark for the Facebook group. I think this time next year, we should be at 8,000 as a goal.
I think 8,000.
8,000? 10,000?
Might be over.
Do I hear 10,000? So we'll keep doing our thing. And hopefully you guys will keep listening, keep reading. And of course, if you're a member of the Academy, that you'll stick around and you'll keep letting us be a part of your journey in there as well. It's been a good year, Callie.
It has.
It has. I'm looking forward to this next year. I can't actually believe a year has passed already, but it has. And it's been eventful, but it's been successful and enjoyable. And we've been thoroughly blessed. And we are very appreciative of you guys being along with us for the ride. And we hope you stick with us, and we'll be listening next year as we review year 3 of the Academy. This is going
to scary to think about.
Don't even. This is going to turn into a tradition. Honestly, we're going to be old and grey. Some of us are getting there quicker than others. That's me. I can't even be part of this. We're going to be old and grey and doing Reflections on Academy Year 52.
That's scary.
Callie's face has just turned white there. Yeah, that's way too far in the future. Alright guys, that's it from this week. Hopefully you've enjoyed this little retrospective. Hopefully it's been interesting, or at the very least entertaining, to get an insight into the past 12 months here at Member Site Academy. Remember, if you are a recently joined listener, first and foremost, make sure you head to iTunes and you subscribe to the show to make sure that you never miss an episode. But I also definitely recommend checking out the show notes over at themembershipguys.com/113 and hit that link for last year's review to get more of a deep dive into year one of the Academy. And yeah, you can kind of start creating your own anthology. This is going to be like the most complete, comprehensive diary of membership site owners ever known to man, so you can get an early start on that by making sure you check out that episode. And that's it. I'm going to stop talking now because this one has ran long, but hopefully it's been worth your while. I want to thank Callie for joining me on the show. Despite my protests, I think she's proven once and again why it's always good having her on the show, and I'm just picturing her face when I let her know that the download numbers for this, I mean, it's just bound to end up one of our most downloaded episodes yet again, which means you get loaded over me yet again, and especially when coupled with Behind the Membership, which is killing it. Hopefully I'll be allowed to continue podcasting for you guys. So assuming that Callie has not usurped me and has not taken over as host of the Membership Guys podcast, I'll be back again next week with another episode. Thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you next week. If you've enjoyed today's episode of the Membership Guys podcast, we invite you to check out the membersiteacademy.com. The Member Site Academy is the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a membership website. So whether you're still figuring out what your idea is going to be, or whether your website is already up and running and you're just looking for ways to grow it and attract new members, then the Member Site Academy can help you to get to the next level. With our extensive course library, monthly training, exclusive member-only discounts, perks and tools, and a supportive, active community to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement and advice, the Member Site Academy is the perfect place to be for anyone looking to start, manage and grow a successful membership website. So check it out at membersiteacademy.com.